Good morning, dear students. In today's class, we will discuss the module 4. So, to begin with, module 4 is all about functions, structure, and union. Right? So, here you will be coming across some new concepts. Okay, so functions, we have used a few of them like say printf, scanf, or even getS, putS. All these are functions. They are all inbuilt functions. They are already defined in particular header file. But when we say functions here, we are going to also discuss about the other type of function, which is user defined function. Like the name itself says, user defined function means it will be defined by us. We are the users. We are going to define the function like the way we want it to work. For example, if we want to add two numbers, we may also write it using the normal program. But when we want to add two numbers 100 times, right? So each and every person, say there are 100 people, each and every one wants to add two numbers. So again and again, we have to write the same code, right? It becomes very tedious. So that's where we can use the concept of functions, right? So say we have even another example like factorial can be used. What is NCR? Anyone? What is the meaning of, or what is the formula for NCR?
N factorial by n minus r factorial into r factorial, ma'am.
Right. So n factorial by n minus r factorial into r factorial. So how many times are we finding factorial here?
N times.
See, first is n factorial is 1 for some number, right? If we say 5c 3, so 5 factorial divided by 5 minus 3 factorial into 3 factorial. So we are finding 5 factorial, 2 factorial, 3 factorial, right? So 3 times we are performing the same operation of finding the factorial. Now if we have to do it, we have to write it in 3 different times, right? So 3 times we are writing. If we want to say perform some application wherein we are doing the same operation 100 times, then we have to write that code so many times, right? So instead of that, we will go for modular programming. Note that, modular programming. So like your syllabus is divided into different modules, different parts. So we are going to define that particular type or a task using a module or a function. So let us see one by one. So to begin with, module 4 is all about modular programming. Okay, different types. We have functions, structure, and union. Okay, so first we have the contents here. So as you can see, we have user defined functions because there are two types. One is user defined function, another is built-in function. Built-in functions, we have used many of them, especially like printf, scanf, or even power. And what just the previous problem we solved had all mathematical functions. So square root, power, exponential, sine, cos, all these are functions, but they are built-in functions. They are already defined. We are not telling the compiler what to do. If it sees sin sign, right, it knows because that is a keyword. It is already defined. So that is one type, which is a library function or a built-in function. It is already defined in the library. Like if we say strlen, it is already defined in string.h. Similarly, strcmp or strcpy, so on. We have many string manipulation functions which we just saw. So all of them are all built-in functions, or they are also called as library functions. So they are already defined. What is to be done, the compiler already knows. Once it sees the keyword, it will search if that header file is defined. Say strlen, it sees the keyword. Now header file string.h is there. So it goes to header file, and then there the definition of string strlen is there. So it will work accordingly. So it is already defined. That is built-in function. Now in this module, we will see the other type, which is user defined function. So we will define the function. We will give a particular name. So instead of strlen, we may give something else and again define it. So that becomes a user defined function. So those will not be keywords. So whatever are already defined are keywords, built-in functions. The other type is the user defined function. So here we will see certain concepts like function definition, function call, different types of functions, and then we have structure and union. So that will be after functions, right? This is the content of module 4. So to begin with, what is a function and why is it necessary, right? So a function is a set of statements that take some input to do some task and produce the output. So now that means we can say a program also does the same thing. Why we need a function, right? So that is the idea why we need the function. Why is it necessary? That is to put some commonly or repeatedly done tasks together and make it as a function so that we can avoid writing the same code again and again. So we may be giving different inputs and it has to work similarly, right? So in that case, we can use functions. So let us see how to do this, right? So we have a particular task that can be defined as a function. Now there is syntax also for this function. So this is very important. Please note function definition. Like if we say we are defining something, if we are defining a particular word, so we are telling what is the meaning of that, right? So if I say like define what is a book. So you'll say a book is something which is giving us information. It has some pages. That is basically we are defining what is the meaning of that, right? Similarly, if we have a function, we are defining the meaning or we are defining what is the task it performs. So that part which defines that function is called function definition. So there is a syntax here. So we have a return type. This can be any of the data type like int, char, float, long, depending on our function, whatever answer it gives. For example, if we are adding two integers, answer also will be an integer, right? So the data type of the result is also an integer. So in that case, we will write here as int, and function name is whatever name we want to give. So here again, we cannot give keywords as the name of the function, okay? And also like identifier names, those rules apply for function name also. So we cannot start it from a number. We cannot have special characters, no space in between, right? Underscore is allowed though, okay? And so on. Though all the rules which apply for naming any identifier apply here also, okay? So function name, for example, we want to add, so we can give just add, okay? Or anything we like, we can give here as the function name. And within round bracket, we have the parameter list. Parameters are nothing but the inputs required for the function to work. For example, if we are adding two integers, what is the input required? I repeat my question. If we want to add two integers, what is the input required?
Two integers.
Two
Integers,
integers,
ma'am.
right? So those two integers we will give as the parameters. Okay. Say we want to add a plus b and store it to c. Okay. All a, b, c are all integers. So we will give int a comma int b as the parameter. So this can be any number. So any number of parameters we can give. So these parameters, or it is also called as arguments. Note that I will be using certain terms. These are technical and important terms which we will be using further also, right? So here we are using parameters, or they are nothing but the variables which are required for performing this task. Say we want to add two numbers, integers, so those we will give as parameters, right? So that is given within round bracket. And then like any function, like we say main function or any other, we are going to start the function with curly braces and close it with curly brace, okay? So this is the syntax, and whatever we have inside is the body of the function. So this is called as the function definition. So here again, you can see the first thing is local variable declaration. What is a local variable? Local variable means it can be used only within this function. It cannot be used outside. if we are defining one function as add a and b, okay, those a and b are local variables. It can be used only in this, right? So now if we define, say, int result or int c, any variable we define here, we cannot use it outside the function, say in some other function, right? If we have to use, again we have to declare, and both of them will get different memory locations. Okay, so local variable means it is local to that function. It can be used only within that function. If it is used elsewhere, it becomes a different variable with a different value. Is this clear? The meaning of local variable. And then we may have n number of executable statements. So if we want to add, say we write c equal to a plus b.
Yes,
So that is the executable statement. And then we may print here also, or we may return a statement. Note that this is again another important part of a function to understand. There is one return. So this means it can return an answer. Let us take one analogy, right? So if I say, if I tell the one student, you go and find out if the classroom is free or is it occupied, right? So the student will return and tell me, yes ma'am, the class is free. So that is what we got as a return answer, right? So this is returning some value. So like if we come back to the addition, we are adding a plus b and storing it to c, we can return c. Where will it return? So now this function has to be called somewhere. Now if I call a student, that student will go and find out, and student will come back and tell me, yes ma'am, classroom is free. So that, why does the student tell me? Because I called the student and asked the student to do that task, right? So he or she will come back to me and tell the answer. Now, similarly, the function is called by some other function. Which one? Main, right? So main will call this function. So main becomes the calling function. This is a called function. Like we say, the teacher is the person who is calling, and student is the person who is called. Okay, so student is going to do the task, find out if classroom is empty, and come and tell the answer, yes, classroom is free or it is occupied, right? So like that, this return will return the answer to the calling function. So main will call this and ask to do some task. It will complete that task and come back and tell the answer. Is this part clear? I've just outlined the concept of function. Till here, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So let us see with examples, and different types are there. So this function is a very interesting concept. So you have to pay attention and listen. So some concepts, some terms are there. So when you understand this, you can perform any type of application very easily using the function. Okay. So there are some parts here. So like, let us see each one with example. Now this is just a general syntax. Okay. So return type is a data type of the answer, whatever answer we want. So if we are adding two integers, we will get integer. If we add one int and float, we will get a floating point. Then we will mention this as float. Okay. Function name is whatever name we want to give to our function. And parameter list, a list of variables. Okay. Whatever is required for the function to work. Local variable is the variables which can be used only within this function. Okay. And then we have certain executable statements. Say we want to add, so we will have statement for add. If we want to print the result here itself, we can have printf statement. We can have any number of statements here. All those are executable. And then we have one more important thing, is the return statement, right? So in a function, there is a return statement. It returns the answer back to the calling function. Usually in main, we will call the function. So the answer is returned back to main. Okay. Let us continue with example. Now we will see further on different types also. So here we have an example. So like I just told. So we have void. So assume that the uh, teacher has given the assignment. Okay. So student has to write and he has to solve the problem. So now the student has solved, but sometimes the student may come back and tell, yes ma'am, I have solved this problem. Or sometimes the student may not come back and tell, but the student has already solved the problem that is there. So that is when the we don't get any return answer, right? So in that case, return will be void. So here the function has to perform addition. It is adding two numbers, but it does not return anything. It does not tell the answer back to main. Okay, so that is when we have this type of function. So wherein the return type is void. So what happens then? Sorry. So here we have just defined the function as add. Okay, add is the name of the function, and we are adding two integers. So int a comma int b, and then we are defining int total. What type of variable is this total? We just saw in the syntax.
Integer.
Local, yes, integer. It is a local variable, right? So we saw in the syntax when you just compare local variable declaration. So we are declaring this int total here. So this total cannot be used anywhere outside this function. So only within the add function we can use it. Okay, so this total is a local variable. Now total equal to a plus b. So this function has to add a and b. It is adding. Now, when we say it does not return, then how will we know the answer, right? So we should know what is this value of total. We got the value, say 2 plus 3, it added and got 5. So when we have void here, we can print the value of total here itself. So on the command prompt, we will get the answer total. Is this clear? So the function may be called by main, but the main will not get the answer. Return type is void. We are not having any return statement here. Okay, so we will see these different types in the coming slides. Okay, so here return type is void. So that is what I was talking about. So void is a return type. Void means nothing. So it does not return anything, null. So it is going to find out the answer and then print it here itself, right? Student has solved the problem. He has that problem in the book. He has the answer. Okay, so he knows the answer. Now student does not come back and tell, yes ma'am, I have solved. So that is when return value is not there, but the solution is done. So the task is completed. So the task of addition is completed, but the answer is not sent back to main. Is this analogy clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so here we have just defined a function. Okay, add. So int a and b, these are the inputs or the variables required for addition, and we are defining one variable total. So total add a plus b, and then we may write here return. In that case, because total is int, we'll have to change this void to int. Okay, so if we are returning the total, the student solves the problem, he has the answer, and he comes back to the teacher and tells, ma'am, I have solved and this is the answer. Okay, so the main function has received the answer. So that is when we can write here as int. For example, if we have int and float here, then answer will be float. We can write return type as float. So this return type depends on the type of result. Okay, whatever answer we are returning. So that whatever is the data type of the answer has to be given here. So here, if we are not returning, give void. Okay. So let us see how to do this. So in this case, we have certain keywords, okay, certain terms. So here the function has been defined, right? We defined here what is the meaning of add. So there is no keyword like add. Okay, there is no function in any library called add. So but we have defined it, so that is why it is called as user defined function. Add is not a keyword, we have defined it. Okay, now this has to be called somewhere, right? It cannot work on its own. So main will start working if we compile, but function will not work until it is called. So there is a important term called as function call. Okay, function call will be called using this name. Okay, so if I have to call Jai Surya, I will say Jai Surya, then he is called by his name, right? So like that, if I want this function to work, I have to call it by its name. Its name is add. So I can tell add within bracket give 2 comma 3, then the function knows a is 2, b is 3, and it has to add it. Okay, so we have to call this function for it to work, right? So now we have one doubt raised here. Why do we return, right? It is not mandatory always to return, but some functions, some application, we may need the answer in main. It may be required to perform another operation later. Okay, or we may have to print it in the main. So there are different types. Some functions we need not return at all. We can print the answer here itself, okay, total, and that will complete the task of the function. In some application, we may need to return the value so that in main it can be used. I hope I have cleared your doubt. Yes, okay. So we'll continue. So here we have defined the function. We have told the meaning of this function. Add means add these two numbers and store it to total. Okay. And we are not returning anything. So we can print total here. Okay. Now, how should this start working? So it will start working only if it is called and it has the value of A and B. Without knowing the value of A and B, it cannot add, right? So here we have to call this function. So here we have the syntax. Next slide will show us the syntax of how to call this function. So that is nothing but we simply specify function call syntax is specify the function name within bracket, give the parameter list. So here we will give the values, okay, or we can give the name of the variable. So if we are taking input. So for example, previously we defined void add int a comma b. That means we need to have the value of a and b. How do we call this? So as per that example, name of the function is add. Within bracket, we will give the value of two integers, 2 comma 4. So this is the statement which is function call. Very important, these terms. Please make note in your book. Function call is the statement where we are calling the function with the input, right? So here we specify add within bracket 2 comma 4. That means it has to add 2 and 4. So if this statement is seen in main, what happens? Control will go back to this wherever the function is defined, and first number is 2, that becomes the value of A. Second number we have given 4, so 2 comma 4, so 4 will be the value of B. Then it defines total and it will add 2 plus 4, 6 will get stored to total. I hope this is clear. So this is how function call will be there, right? Function name within bracket 2 comma 4. Assume we are taking input, right, for A and B. So we may write here add within bracket A comma B also. Okay, then before that we should have taken input scanf ampersand AB, right? We should have taken input for AB, then we can write the variable also. So inputs we can give directly or we can give using scanf, right? So like how we do normally for programs. So this is the statement for function call. Is the concept of function call clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So function call is nothing but we give the name of the function, within bracket we give the variables or its value so that the function can start working. Now next, how to declare this function? So declaration is this statement. So we saw here. So first statement we have void add in bracket int a comma int b. This statement is called as function prototype. Please make note. Just a minute. Is this screen visible? White screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here we will see. So first one we just saw function declaration, right? Where we are defining function definition. Okay. Function declaration is nothing but the first statement. It is called as function prototype. Function prototype is the first statement. So here if we are defining, so void within, then add is the name of the function, and then we are giving the variables a comma int b. This statement is called as function declaration, or it is also called as function prototype. So function prototype is an important concept. So it has the following things: return type, name of the function, within bracket parameter list. Is this clear? So this function prototype will tell us a maximum lot of details about the function. So it tells us what is the return type. Okay, what is the answer, data type of the answer, what is the name of the function, what are the input variables required. So those are the main things for the function to work. So it gives us majority of the information. So the first line in the function is the function prototype, or it is function declaration. Let's go back to this. So here we have function definition. In that, the first line is the function prototype, right? So what is the syntax for this function declaration or function prototype? So first we have return type, then we have function name, and then we have parameter list. Note that there is a semicolon. This prototype can be used in two ways. Okay, note that the first one way is we are defining the function and then we can write the main. Okay, so if we have a program, how will we write this? So here, say we want to add, so usually when we have a program, we are first writing hash include, right? So we include the header file, hash include stdio.h, right? And next we usually write void main, and then we have the main function. So this is the basic program, whatever program we want to write. So this is how we have defined. Now we have one more function here. We want to include it in this, right? So here we can write prototype in different ways depending on the function. So if we are defining the function, we can define it before main. Note this. So here we are writing void add, okay, and then int a comma int b. So this is the function prototype. Now if we are defining here the function prototype, along with that we can write the function definition also. That is what we saw in the previous slide. Int total equal to a plus b, all that can be written here itself, body of the function. So this is one way, and function will be called here, right? So say we call add of 2 comma 4. So this is the function call. Okay, so function call we have written in the main. We can write the function before main or after main. Note that the function can be defined before main like this, or it can be defined after main. If we are defining before main, we will simply write the definition of the function and then main and call it here inside the main. Okay, this is one way. Or we can have another way, right? So this is simply the prototype along with the function definition. Otherwise, we can write like this. So we are writing the program hash include stdio.h. So we have written the function. Now we have the prototype. So if we are defining after main, so here we will have void main, okay, and then we are calling the function add, say we call with 2 comma 4, okay, and after that we are defining the function. Note that the first line will still be the same. There are different ways of writing this. So first one we just saw, this is the second type. Please pay attention. So here we have int a, int b, and then we are defining the function. Okay, so whatever statements we want to give, we can write here. In this case, we have to give a semicolon. So this means we are having the prototype defined first. Whenever we are writing the main function, and after that we are writing the function definition, we have to include the function prototype. Okay, so function prototype is there twice. If we are defining the function first, so this already is there, function prototype and definition, no need to write it again. Okay, so here we are defining the function and then we are writing main. Okay, in case we are writing the main function first and then defining the function, we have to include this prototype statement. Why is this so? Why should we include it again? It is already here, so compiler should know that. You may ask, we have to include the function prototype here because the compiler should know how many functions are there in this program. If it is there before main, it is already there, visible. The compiler knows, okay, how many ever functions we define, control will always start from main. This is an important concept. Whether we define the function first and then main, or we define main first and then write the function, control will always start from main. Okay, so if we are writing main function first, we will write the prototype. So usually in this lab sheet, we have done this way, right? We are defining all the functions first, and then we are writing main. And in main, we can call. So if we are writing add here, or if we want calculator, then we can write one more function for subtract, another for multiplication, another for divide. So how many ever times we want to perform these operations, we will call them. So first we want to add 2 and 4, then we want to subtract 4 and 5, whatever operations, we have to define all the functions and then we can call the main. Okay, so these are the two types where function prototype is used. Is the concept of function prototype clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So to repeat, function prototype is nothing but the first line whatever we are defining, right? It gives us the majority of information about the function. What is the return type? That is the answer. What is the name of the function? What are the parameters required to perform? Yeah. So what is the difference between the two? Like I just told, so there is a doubt here. So what is the difference between these two? If we define the function first, the compiler knows there are certain functions and then we are writing main. So we need not write the prototype again. But if we are writing main first, we have to write the prototype again. There is not much of a difference in how it works. Okay, it works exactly same way. But we'll have an additional job of writing the prototype. So here we just have add. If we are writing instead of addition, if we are writing a program for a calculator, then we'll have one function for add, another subtract, another multiply, another divide, another mod. So we have say 5 functions. So we will have to write 5 lines, 5 prototypes, and then main, and then define all the 5, right? So it becomes some extra additional lines. Okay, so in execution time, there is not much of a difference. It is only the way we are writing it. So for a developer or the person who is writing the program, for him it will be clear. So there are these particular functions and I have defined them already. In the main, I will call them one by one. Okay, so if we are defining like this, we have to mandatorily write. So if we have defined 5 functions after main, we have to write all the 5 functions prototype first and then write main. So compiler will know, it will scan from top to down, top down approach. Like we know, it starts from stdio.h and it will see each line, scan each line until it comes to main. So whenever it is scanning the line like this, so hash include, it included the header file. Now after scanning this line, compiler knows there is one function called add which is defined later. So it has that information. Then in the main, when it sees this add, it knows that it is defined. If we don't give prototype here, if we don't give this line, so it does not know this, it is defined, it has to see some, then it can result in errors. Okay, so here if we have 5 functions, we have to write 5 prototypes and then main and define them. Or instead we can define all the functions first and then write main. Okay, I hope I've cleared the doubt. Yes, usually we will follow this. Okay, right, define the functions. If required, you can write the main function. There is no problem, it will still work. Okay, yeah, clear? Yes, yes ma'am, clear, fine. So we'll continue. So this is about function prototype. So what all did we see now? We have seen function definition. So it tells us about how the function will work, right? So what is to be done in the function. And then we saw a statement. So that is nothing but function call. Can you tell me in this, anyone, which statement is function call? In this, we have a set of, we have a program here, some
Void
code.
add.
Which is function call?
Void add.
add, right? So this one, this is prototype. Okay, so this statement is function call. Okay, so here we have the statement add 2 4. This statement is, just a minute, yeah, this statement is function call. So whenever we want the function to work, there should be mandatorily mentioned, the statement should be mentioned mandatorily. Otherwise, this add function will not work. It is like simply having that some chips bag with you and you're not eating it, like that. Okay. So we have just defined the function. If we don't call, it will not work. Until it is called, it won't work. Okay, so if we call like this, that means we have given first variable is 2, second is 4. It will tell A is 2, B is 4, and then find what total. Okay, so this statement is function call, and this is function definition. So including, say, in total, if we write here, okay, we can write those statements. So if, because we are not declaring, so we give int total, and then say total equal to A plus B, right? I'm just writing the print here itself because of space, right? We have printf because it is int percentage D comma total, right? Fine. So this, yeah, these 3 lines are inside this bracket. Okay, so here this entire thing is function definition, and this is function call. Okay, this bracket is there after printf. I hope this is clear. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, so let's continue here. Yeah, so we have defined the function, and then we saw what is function call, the statement which is used to call the function. And then next we have the declaration, right? The function prototype. So return type, name of the function, and a list of parameters. And then we have different types of functions based on the return type and parameters. Okay, so in this case, let us see one example first before we go to that. There is one example to find the maximum of 2 numbers. So we have 2 numbers, we have to find which is the larger one. If we are writing, we can write it using a single program itself, right? Or we can use function. So in this case, we have to find a maximum of 2 numbers. So if we have A and B, if we have to find if A is greater than B, or is it vice versa, right? Is B greater than A? So here we are defining, okay, hash include stdio.h int maximum. It has to return an integer, and then maximum is the name of the function, and then within bracket we specify the 2 integers. What is this statement called? What is this statement called?
Function prototype, ma'am.
Function prototype, right? So function prototype is defined. Then we have void main. In that we have taken input. You may have a doubt here. We have taken x and y, right? But here it is A and B. Please note, there are 2 types of variables, parameters. So here x and y are defined in the main function. We are taking input for x and y. And in maximum, we have given x comma y. Previously, we just gave add of 2 comma 4. There directly we gave the value. Whereas here we are taking input for x and y and then giving the value x and y. These variables or parameters which are inside main are called as actual parameters. Note there are some terms we are going to define. So those are technical terms. Okay. So we can have different names. Here we have A and B. Here we can use A and B, same thing, or we can use different name. So whatever variables are used in the main function, okay, x and y is used. X and y are actual parameters. A and B are formal parameters. Okay, so here we may have different variables. So in this case, we have defined this. Okay. I hope the screen is visible. So in the previous just example, we have x comma y. They are used in main function. They are called as actual parameters. And we have in the function prototype a comma b. In the function, whatever variables are used, they are called as formal parameters. Very important to note this. These can be some questions, right? Like MCQ, what is actual parameter? What is formal parameter? Right? So we will see the difference also and how it is used, right? X and Y are used in the main function. Whatever variable is used in main function is called as actual parameter. So in the function call, we have given maximum of X comma Y. They are actual parameters. Now when we define in the function, we have given A and B. So A and B are used in the function. So whichever variables we use in the function, they are called formal parameter. The name of both may be same or they may be different. Okay, so that depends on the developer. So we can give any way, both are fine, it will work. Okay, so we may give A and B here also, or both we can give different, so no problem there. Actual parameters and formal parameters will be stored in different location. In case we give AB and AB, so this A and B will be stored in, say, address 1000 and 2000, and formal parameter AB may be stored in address 3000 and 4000. So actual parameter A will be different from formal parameter A. They are all used, only formal parameters only within that function. They are local variables. Okay. So actual parameters are used within main, formal parameters are used in the function. Is the definition of actual and formal parameter clear? What is actual
Yes,
parameter?
which is inside the main,
Which is in the main. The parameters are variable in the main. What is formal parameter?
which is there on the global declaration part.
Which is there in the function. Okay, so which is there in the function. That is formal parameter. Okay, so we have just introduced the concept of function here. We will continue. There are types of functions and so on. I will be sharing the lab sheet also. Okay, so here you can note that it is returning an integer. So we are giving max equal to maximum. You have to define max also has to be given. So that is there. Okay, x comma y comma max. So we are calling the function here. This is function call. And then we will define it later. Right, so here we are printing also whatever function is there, its answer also will be printed. How does this work? So let us see, this is the function definition. A and B are formal parameters. Now here we have passed a maximum of x comma y, right? X value will get stored to A, y value will get stored to B. So if we are given x as 3, y as 4, then A becomes 3, B becomes 4. Is this clear? So from the function call, if we enter 3 comma 4, okay, so it will pass 3 comma 4. How does this work? Control will come here, header file, then it sees prototype. Okay, there is a maximum function defined in this program. Then it will not go to that function at all. It will start from main. Whether we define the entire function here or we define it later by giving a prototype, control will always start from main. Okay, so execution will always start from main. So it will take this input x and y, and now when there is function call, say we give 3 and 4, maximum of 3 and 4, from this line the control will go to the function definition. So it will not execute this. Okay, from function call directly control comes here. X value 3 is given to A, y value B 4 is given to B. Okay, then it will check 3 greater than 4, false. So return B. Sorry. So it will return 4. Okay, B is 4 and it returns 4 and that gets stored to max. So out of 3 and 4, maximum is 4, right? So variable names are different, but value gets stored like this. Okay, so max is 4 now. It will print maximum of x and y is max. So x is 3, y is 4. Maximum of 3 and 4 is max, that is 4. Okay. So this, we just saw the different terms here. We will see in detail with examples in the next class. I hope till here the concept is clear. Are the terms for functions clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. All of you, please enter your name and roll number in the chat box. So we, just to revise, this program shows the different terms we have. We may define the statement, first statement here itself. So this becomes the function prototype. It gives us a lot of information regarding the return type. What is the data type of the answer? Name of the function, parameter list. In the parameter list, it will give the data type of the parameter and name of the parameter, int A, int B. So we have two integers as the parameter, right? And then we may define the function here itself, then no need of prototype. So we will not give semicolon, we can define here itself. Or if we are defining function later after main, we have to write the main and then we are writing the function definition. In that case, function prototype has to be given before main, so that the compiler has a list of the functions defined, right, in the main. Now, even if we give like this, control will just scan, okay, header file is included, there is a function, but execution always starts from main. So in the main, it will take input for x and y. So we took 3 and 4. Then it will pass that maximum x is 3, y is 4, and it is, this statement is function call. X and y are used in main, they are called as actual parameter. Now from this line, from the function call, control directly comes to the function definition. Okay, so from the function call, whatever is there in main, later it will execute. Okay, from the function call, maximum of x comma y, control directly comes here. So printf will not be executed now. Okay, so control maximum of x and y. X was 3, y was 4. That will be given to a and b. This a and b used inside the function, a and b are called as formal parameters. Okay, this is the function definition. It defines what the function has to do. Okay, it tells us what is the task. So maximum has to be found among a and b, which is greater. So a is getting the value from x, b gets the value from y. So the sequence has to be followed. So x and y, same sequence, a and b. Note, if y was float, then b also should be float. So if first variable is int, second is float, then the sequence also should be same. Int a, float b. We will go through that examples in the next class anyway. So sequence and the data type same. X and y name is different, AB name is different, but data type of XY and AB should be same. Okay, so if X and Y are integers, A and B also should be integers. We cannot give int X there and float A here. Okay, data types has to match, but names may be different for actual and formal parameter. A and B are formal parameters. So now from X and Y, we got the values. A is 3, B is 4. That is taken into the function. So 3 greater than 4, no, condition is false. So it comes to else part and we have a return. So return means it will return this value to the function call, right? So here 3 greater than 4, no. So 4 has to be returned, B has to be returned. So it returns B value and that will get stored to the variable max. Okay, so B value is 4, max becomes 4. You please include 1 comma max here, declare max variable also. Okay, x comma y comma max. So max is also an integer. Okay, so max is the value, returned value, that is 4. Now we have to print that max value. Along with that, we print x by also. Maximum of first percentage d is x, say 3, and second one is y, which is 4, and max is 4. So it prints maximum of 3 and 4 is 4. Right? So out of 3 and 4, maximum is 4. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? Okay. The rest we will continue in the next class. I hope all of you have entered your name and roll number. Yeah. So go through this. I will be sharing the lab sheet 4 also. Lab sheet 4 is completely module 4. And the absentees, of midterm, you have to attend the midterm on EDICH itself. Okay. Yeah. So we will discuss the next concept in the next class. I will also share some videos also with you. Okay. So please go through those lab sheet also, so that you can understand this better. So rest of the concept we will discuss in the next class. Thank you.